Mother Gothel is one of the most compelling villains in the Disney princess universe. She's beautiful in a dark Renaissance way. The kind where you know she's evil, but her beauty is just so enticing you can't look away. She's manipulative, she's greedy, she is the person who technically holds this magical flower and she knows where it's at, but she's not going to share it with anybody because she's obsessed with one thing. Well, two things: youth and beauty. And she is the most extreme depiction of someone who's willing to do whatever it takes to stay young and beautiful. And let's not forget, she is old. Like, really old. Matter of fact, she's so old, she's dust. Hello everyone, my name is Maria. Welcome back to my channel where I like to talk about TV, books, movies, honestly anything that revolves around stories I love. So if you're interested in this type of topic or this type of stuff, please subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what else you'd like to see. The story of Mother Gothel obviously goes back very far, and there's a very popular telling of it, the Brothers Grimm version, where she actually owns the flower. Like the flower, the magical flower, is in her own garden. And which is a very cool story, obviously. But the story I want to focus on is the Disney's adaptation, Tangled. Because in this case, Mother Gothel did not own this flower, but she knew where it was. In Tangled, the story starts off with a woman singing, an old woman, what appears to be an old woman, singing to this enchanted flower, and it's physically starting to change her. Like, it's literally starting to do something different to her, where she's starting to look younger, she's starting to look more beautiful. And at the same exact time, there is an issue in the palace. The queen is sick, and she's actually giving birth at the exact same time. This is why she's sick. And she needs help. And the only thing that they knew could help her was a magical flower. So everyone in the palace went out looking for the flower. And obviously Mother Gothel knows what this flower is. And she's not going to tell anybody. Like, come on. To release her magical flower is to give up her youth and beauty. And she was not going to do that. But eventually the people found the flower. And the flower got used in the queen. And in essence, the magical powers of the flower transferred into Rapunzel, leaving her with beautiful golden magical hair. Somehow, some way, some shape, some form, Mother Gothel found herself in the palace. I do not know how Mother Gothel got into the palace, okay? That part is a little crazy to me. And she goes in there to take a piece of this magical hair from this baby. Because, guys, like I said, she's obsessed with youth and beauty. But guess what? When she takes that lock of hair, it doesn't work. The power dies because the hair cannot be cut. If it's cut, the magic goes away. So she does something very crazy. She steals the baby. This is our first gauge of just how dark Mother Gothel is in her nature. She steals a baby so she can stay young and beautiful. Some might argue that, okay, there was a little bit of good in her bones because look, she tried to steal just a lock of the hair. But the moment that she steals the baby, she becomes a certified villain, okay? Like, it's raps. Like, there is no coming back from that. I don't know how. However, this is the moment as viewers, you know you're tuned in. This all happens in like the first 5 minutes of the film. So not only did they get us, but they got us. They just showed us the most heinous thing, stealing a baby. And we're about to watch this because then they continue on and say, not only did she steal this baby, oh no, she raises this baby as her own. Treating this daughter like she's your daughter when that's not your daughter, making her believe you're her mother and you're not her mother. Crazy. Rapunzel calls her mom. Rapunzel tells her she loves her, and Mother Gothel always ends it with, I love you most, which is actually very scary. If you hear it, that's really scary. On one end, as a viewer, you're glad she's raising Rapunzel with love. But on the other end, you're like, why are you keeping this girl hidden? Why are you keeping her locked in a tower? And oh yeah, she's not even your daughter. So it's definitely a weird circle. You're like, okay, at least she's being raised, right? With love. But it's very diabolical. And it's actually crazy because this is a Disney princess movie. Like, Disney princess movies, y'all, they can get very dark and deep, which is why I love them so much, I feel like, because it's like they're a story for every age group to find some type of enjoyment out of them, you know? But what we can see is Mother Gothel's love for her was absolutely just her acknowledgement of what Rapunzel could do for her. Not who Rapunzel was, but what Rapunzel could do, which was sing a magical song that would keep her young and beautiful. But nonetheless, to Rapunzel, Mother Gothel was her mother. And their mother-daughter dynamic was definitely fragile in its reality. However, Mother Gothel never acknowledged reality. To her, if anything ever even seemed a little bit offbeat, she'd be like, oh no, it's fine. No, dear, let me just buy you some more paint. I'll be back in 2 days' time. Like, that was Mother Gothel's nature. Rapunzel was the one who definitely had a lot more. Well, Mother Gothel had stability and she had wits, but she never wanted to acknowledge that to Rapunzel because she was so focused on keeping Rapunzel in this like gaslit state of mind and making sure she was locked in the tower, making sure she couldn't put things together. She just had to constantly make Rapunzel believe that the things that were true weren't true and that, like, just have fun painting with your long hair. Mother Gothel is the only one who leaves the house. Rapunzel's always having to lift that lady up with her long hair. Mother Gothel's always making sure Rapunzel's technically provided for, but she brushes her off a lot. And she even says jokes to her that are actually very rude and mean. But for Rapunzel, she kind of is so used to it that that's her reality and that's just how Mother Gothel is. So she's like, oh, that's just my mom. Like, she'll say offbeat things because Mother Gothel will be like, I'm just joking, dear, right after. But their mother-daughter relationship is actually obviously not an ideal relationship. And even Rapunzel probably, I would say, could feel inside of herself that something was off. So in this perfect reality that Mother Gothel thinks that she's created for Rapunzel, Rapunzel at this point is still growing older and she finally kind of cracks this perfect facade that Mother Gothel put on by asking to see the floating lights. Now, at this point, Mother Gothel is obviously, like I said, trying to kind of do cleanup work where she's like, no, 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 that's not real. It's crazy. So she tries to tell Rapunzel that these are stars. And Rapunzel's like, no, no, I know what stars are. These are floating lights and they only happen on my birthday. And Mother Gothel's like, huh? Which, if we're being honest, all Mother Gothel had to do was lie about Rapunzel's birthday. And then maybe Rapunzel wouldn't have been able to put it together that something just wasn't right. Like, she was like, this just doesn't make sense. Every year on my birthday, there's something special. Like, they belong to me. Guys, these floating lanterns really were for Rapunzel on her birthday every single year. The palace would release the lanterns as a sign of kind of like hoping that the lost princess would return. Rapunzel's obviously the lost princess. So yes, they did belong to her. She was connected and she knew. But Mother Gothel, in her obsession with youth and beauty and keeping Rapunzel trapped in a tower just like that magical flower at the beginning of the movie, would lie. And she shut it down and she basically told Rapunzel, never ask me to see those floating lights again. And it's supposed to be the end of discussion. But Mother Gothel obviously miscalculated. Mother Gothel also, I forgot to mention, tries to use a lot of fear tactics. Like, no, you can't go because if you go, the world will want to use you. They want to steal your hair. They want to take it. Oh my gosh, there's evil people out there. When technically Rapunzel's with the most evil person of them all, living right in her own house. And that's how terrible Mother Gothel actually is if you think about it. Because she's using everything that she actually is against Rapunzel's perception of what the outside world would be. And it was used as a method and a tool to keep her locked away. All of this, everything that I've mentioned, is all in direct relation to the way Mother Gothel treated that magical flower in the beginning. The magical flower was something that she kept hidden. It's something she treated precious and with care. Not precious and with care because it was a flower, but she treated it precious and with care because it was a flower that could provide her a way to stay young and beautiful. And because Rapunzel was all of this now, she had to make sure she kept Rapunzel locked in a tower and away from people, hidden. She had to make sure she treated Rapunzel so precious and delicately. Nobody can cut your hair. Make sure you don't cut your own hair. Keep it long. Brush it. Everything was used against Rapunzel. And if you know Rapunzel's character, the girl is funky. She's wild. She's free. She's fun. And Mother Gothel tried to keep that all contained and pressed down and morphed away. I also forgot to mention that when Mother Gothel actually shuts down Rapunzel, saying like never to ask it in, it's one of the first times we see too that Mother Gothel is technically on her good behavior with Rapunzel, but she is willing and absolutely going to throw out that good persona if it means keeping Rapunzel locked in the tower. Like, she'll let go of the cool mom, it's all fun and great if she has to, and she'll pull out the villain side of her to keep Rapunzel locked in her place. Fast forward, Rapunzel absolutely disobeys Mother Gothel. Clap it up for Rapunzel. She needed to do that. Mother Gothel absolutely positively miscalculated, but there was still a part of her that she was like, okay, she had a couple of tricks up her sleeve. But before I get to that, she found that crown that technically belonged to Eugene, but technically is Rapunzel's crown. And I just know she was pressed when she found that crown. Like, she was like, oh my gosh, my world is circling around. Like, this is all coming back. Like, she thought she ran away and that it would never follow her. Oh, it did. Oh, yes, it did. And yes, Mother Gothel, you are about to lose your pride and glory. But anyway, when Mother Gothel finds out that Rapunzel has left the tower, she uses everything about her. She uses her wits, her charm, her beauty to get Rapunzel, to get back around Rapunzel, I guess I should say, to find a way to get Rapunzel back in her world, which takes a little bit of help from two men that are against Flynn at this point. And it works out for her. She gets to be back around Rapunzel eventually. But Rapunzel at this point has tasted the real world, and she has already technically fallen in love with Eugene too. Eugene Flynn. Love him. Same guy. But Mother Gothel uses this as a moment to basically tell Rapunzel, do you really think he wants you? No. Honestly, my favorite scene of the whole movie is the reprise Mother Knows Best scene. And Mother Gothel's like, do you really think he wants you for romance? No, he just wants this crown. Because Rapunzel and Eugene at this point had made a deal. If Eugene took her to see the floating lanterns, she would give him back the tiara because he had climbed into the tower. I guess I never explained this, but if you know the movie, you know this. But basically, Rapunzel had the tiara and she hid it in the house. That's why Mother Gothel found the tiara, the crown, But anyway, in the Mother Knows Best reprise, she's like, oh, it's just this romance that you've invented just proves you're too naive to be here. Look at you. You think that he's impressed? Don't be a dummy. Come with Mummy, Mother. I love that song. I love this movie. Okay. So, in essence, Mother Gothel is really just trying to convince her this whole time in the Mother Knows Best reprise that, like, everything you think is true is a lie. When, guys, it's the quite opposite. Everything she thinks is true, and everything she thought was a lie is a lie. Did you catch that? And eventually, because Mother Gothel is such a good schemer, she schemed with those two men. She found a way to get Rapunzel to kind of just go back home willingly, because Rapunzel thought that Eugene, didn't want her and that he left her. It wasn't true. Flynn didn't. Rapunzel ends up finding out when she goes home. Long story short, Rapunzel goes home and she puts everything together. Somehow, some way, she wakes up and she's like, I'm the lost princess. It's the most powerful scene in that whole film. And I just love it because Mother Gothel was absolutely positively astounded. And I just love when a protagonist can baffle a villain. So when Rapunzel basically confronts her and is like, am I the lost princess? Mother Gothel's like, And then Rapunzel kind of gets her strength back against Mother Gothel. And Rapunzel's basically like, no, I'm walking out of this tower. And that's when Mother Gothel kind of snaps. That cool mom persona that she had, that gets thrown out the way. She literally says, you want me to be the bad guy? Fine, I'll be the bad guy. And she literally gets chains to lock Rapunzel up. Everything that she did, keeping Rapunzel happy in the house, that was all just fluff. It was genuinely like, it's easier to keep somebody happy and I can get what I want from you than me angering you so I can still take what I want from you. But because I want what I want from you so bad and you're not being easy anymore, let me lock you away. It's going to be difficult, but I want this so bad. I'm not giving it up. And that's how she viewed Rapunzel. Rapunzel was her precious flower that was about to walk out the door. So she said, let me get these chains. Let me lock you away so I can keep being young and beautiful. Obviously, guys, every villain has a blind spot. And for Mother Gothel, her blind spot was just how much Flynn loved Rapunzel. And I think about it like this. When you don't really love somebody, you don't really see how they can be lovable from other people. When you do love somebody, you absolutely know just how lovable they are, and you believe it when somebody else loves them. In this case, Mother Gothel clearly did not love Rapunzel because she would have known just how precious, in the good way, Rapunzel actually was, just how lovable and admirable Rapunzel actually could be in the most healthy way. And that's how Flynn/Eugene seen her. And she did not realize this man was absolutely head over heels and he would do anything it took to get back to her. So when Flynn comes back to the tower and he gets there and he sees Rapunzel's locked up, Mother Gothel in her evilness literally stabs Eugene. And this man's about to bleed out. And Rapunzel's like, oh my gosh, don't do this. Let me just Well, at this point, Rapunzel's kind of not giving in to Mother Gothel. Mother Gothel wants to actually run away with Rapunzel and lock her up again elsewhere, so nobody can find her, and where she can't ever run away again. And Rapunzel's like, listen, I promise I will absolutely give up this fight if you just let me heal him. Like, I will not fight against you, because at this point she's been fighting heavily against her. She's like, if you just let me heal him, it'll be fine. And in this moment, Mother Gothel's blind spot was at its highest. The moment Rapunzel goes to heal Eugene, she's thinking, oh, this is about to be the end of this. No. Eugene loved her so much that he cut off her hair, breaking the promise. Because one thing about Rapunzel is if she made a promise with you, she was going to keep the promise. And he didn't want her to do that, because Rapunzel would have been literally selling herself forever for Mother Gothel. So the moment he cut her hair, the magic died. The magic fled from her hair, and everything about Mother Gothel's being literally ceased to exist on sight. Like, she literally turned to dust. It was the most crazy exit of a villain I've ever seen. And Mother Gothel lost. That was the end of her. And it was absolutely positively amazing. Guys, I've said absolutely positively a lot in this video. But when Mother Gothel fell out of the tower, it was actually just epic. Mind you, Rapunzel's little green friend, her chameleon, whatever that thing's called, helped her fall out of the tower. So it was a very epic, like, you're out of here, kind of exit for a character. Very dark. The whole movie was dark. But obviously, it's Disney, so they didn't show anything too crazy. But all in all, I feel like if Mother Gothel didn't have such a blind spot in the love category, maybe she would have succeeded. But she was definitely a very entertaining villain to watch and just be intrigued about. And I know that there's a series about her on Disney, and they kind of go into Mother Gothel's backstory more. So I'm actually very intrigued and interested in looking into that. But in reality, no matter what Mother Gothel tried to do, she could not keep Rapunzel away from knowing who she truly was and her real identity, which was the fact that Rapunzel was and is a princess. But you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love talking about villains. I love talking about heroes. It's great. And this is obviously a part of the princess series, which I have not done in a while. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment and let me know what else you'd like to see next. But until next time, much love. Bye.